Hello. We are back on Shit Happens, where shit always happens. It's a beautiful Tuesday. I swear, Atlanta needs to quit it with their bipolar weather. Like, it was nice yesterday, and today it's that gloomy weather. Like, anytime it's gloomy weather, I don't feel like doing shit. Like, that's the reason I left UK. If you all ever wondered why I left UK, I hate gloomy weather. But yeah, Atlanta is playing games with me right now. And this is why I'm leaving Atlanta next week. But I have an incredible guest with me, and shout out for him for coming 5 minutes before and hanging out in the backstage. Finally, people are doing right by me because for y'all who have been tuning in since February, you know people be leaving me hanging until the last minute. Oh my God, Soda made it to the live and she was there on my Instagram live. I do it every Tuesday, 9 a.m. And she really wanted to come hang out on this session specifically because I was talking about this live that I was gonna go on. And with no more talking my shit, you're not here to listen to me. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my guest who sorry I made you hanging. I left yes, so that was a little bit late. But this incredible guest of mine, I met him recently at Podfest, and it's just vibes on vibes. And if you're not his friend on Facebook, you need to be his friend on Facebook because there's nobody whose Facebook gets me cracking like him. Like every time I see his post, I'm just like, oh my God, why is this person talking about me? Why am I my business on this street? It's like he's literally putting my business on this street. Hey, look, welcome to Shit Happens.
What's going on? I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to
I'm
be here.
happy you're here. I am happy you're here. From when I saw you at Podfest, I literally walked up to you and introduced myself and say hi to you. I just felt your energy. I knew we were gonna be in each other's lives. And after seeing your post on Facebook, I already know. I'm like, yeah, he's one of me. Like,
For sure. Hey, I didn't know if he's gonna do this. I was gonna hit you up. Facebook and Instagram just had a little outage, so I was like, "What's going on?"
people have been freaking out. Like Instagram literally just came back, but Facebook and Meta World was. I was like, I wasn't really worried about us still doing live because it still also goes on YouTube and LinkedIn. But I
Yeah,
was more like, for a second there, I was like, is Instagram taking away my shit? You know, sometimes when you post something they don't like and they like put you on
Mhm.
jail or something. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, and then when I came back and saw people's posts, people talking about, I thought I was hacked. I thought this was like, oh, okay. Look at that. Soda says hi.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Soda says there's some weird beeps going on. Well, you know,
Yeah,
Facebook and Instagram did kind of go and it's just coming back. So I don't know if that's the reason. So does that mean you can't hear us properly, Soda?
yeah. I was gonna ask you because I'm like, I'm hearing it too. I was like, "Is my internet's pretty well?" But I was like, it picked the wrong day to mess up when I need it the most.
Oh, you can hear beeps from me?
I can hear, yeah, I can hear beep. I didn't know if it was the Wi-Fi or whatever, but I can hear you and everything. It's not like it's breaking up, but
Ah,
it's just like a little boom.
that's funny. I can't hear shit. Well then, hopefully. But Soda, can you like understand us properly, or is that distracting? As long as you can hear us properly, that's all we. But look, um, before we get into everything, right? When I was asking you for your bio, it's funny that I like how your bio came saying just a guy in a wheelchair trying to live the best life he can. So that to
Mhm.
me is like, oh my God, I fucking like I like how very straightforward and simple, just a guy in a wheelchair trying to live the best life he can. So I feel like the first question I should ask you, where it kind of takes us into the conversation, is what is living the best life you can for you? Because, you know, everybody's definition of the best life is different, right? What you might see your best life isn't what I might see. Some people think success successful life is getting married and having a family, and some people it's climbing the corporate world ladder, and some people is it's a difference. So what's you trying to live the best life you can for you?
So pretty much whatever makes me happy. At the end of the day, I'm in a wheelchair. I had to navigate that growing up, and there's always things that I cannot do being in a wheelchair. But one day I had to learn I can still live a fulfilled life. I can still be happy, and I hanging out with friends and uh, I don't know, just living life without like I don't being unapologetically like me and like whatever makes me happy inside. What my values are, I still go by those. And just like your values, you may not want to be married or have kids, or you may want to do that. But if that's what you want, live your life to the fullest and live to be your true self. And I try to be my true self all the time. And I'm just a guy in a wheelchair that like hanging out with friends, smoking cigars, and doing podcasts.
I love that, and I can testify to that. Again, I'm a big fan of your Facebook timeline. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that today, but there's something about in a world where social media, where people have really turned social media into just a place to promote shit, right? We've
Yes.
lost the essence of actually being our true self. Or now, even while we are building these brands, like either being a podcaster, now we have these titles that are defining us, that we let the titles lead ourselves on these platforms instead of us actually just being ourselves as well, because it should being yourself should be part of your brand, of your title. That's what I believe, and that's why I really love your Facebook, because it's all like it's you. Like I can literally relate, and half of the time I'm sharing it or I'm reposting or I'm laughing, because it's nice to see people who are just not being this version of what they're supposed to be, but actually being the version of who they want to be.
Yeah, for sure. Like, well, I get on Facebook and Instagram and all these things and be serious. Like, I post stuff to make people laugh. You've had a hard day, you worked a 9 to 5 or whatever. Like, I don't want to post anything that's going to make you think. It's I want to make you laugh. Like, I want to make you get on there and just have a good laugh and forget about your day. If I could do that, then my job is done. I mean, but there's a lot of things that I say I'm not going to post. Like, I post some wild, crazy, but there's some things I'm like, I'm not going to post that.
That's too crazy. Like, maybe some posters I'm like, I really want to repost that, but I also know my limits because of who is also looking in that. And I'm like, okay, I know that's over the limit crazy. Like,
Yeah,
let me just leave this to my close friends. I'm like,
I definitely agree. And sometimes I go over that, but for the most part, I'm like, if I gotta look at like, should I post this? Nah, I don't think I'm not going to do that. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, we all deserve happiness and some type of form of happiness. And like,
and that's
if you
not
get from
true.
my Facebook, then so be it.
And that's not true. The way you are on Facebook, that's how I used to be on Twitter back in the days. And
Yeah,
mind you, this was when Lil Wayne was really Lil Wayne. Like
yeah,
10 years ago, when I used to be in Malaysia, and I was in college, drinking, smoking, and Lil Wayne was who was giving me advice. Like I was a true diehard Lil Wayne. So anytime the album comes out, I'm like on my vibes, and then I go on Twitter and start tweeting is lyrics, which are really not tweetable shit. Like right now, if I go and tweet that right now, I know I'm gonna get crucified because everybody takes things so seriously these days,
right.
and everybody like interjects. And now because we are these people, oh, Paula is talk shit with P. How can she be saying this? Because now once you literally start being in this world, you're now already branded an influencer, right? So now
Mhm.
your responsibilities of being influenced to everybody. I'm not supposed. I don't care if I'm influencing your child the right way. I should be able to also tweet what the fuck I want to tweet. But Twitter
Yeah.
has lost that. These days it has become that. But back in the days, Twitter was my spot where I was like, yo, I'm gonna say whatever shit I wanna say. I wanna give it to Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne really made my Twitter days. I even became like, and my Twitter handle at that time was Biker Chick. I was very much into bikes. I was a
Okay.
tomboy. Like it was a very different version of me who really lived the life like I don't give a care. I don't fucking care. And it was a time where people, that was what Twitter was for. You just go and tweet
Yeah.
shit, right? And
Hmm.
now you look back, you're like, well, now I gotta be careful what I tweet, because what if I'm speaking in some engagement in 2 years and they go search my tweet? Because now everybody wants to search the things you said 5 years ago.
Right. I'd be like, look, I was having fun. I wouldn't hurt nobody. Nobody was like dying or anything like that. Just let me enjoy myself. And we all
We're
have
too
that.
serious these days. That's why I
Yeah.
feel like people still are are not so serious on social media, because we are not supposed to be that serious, and everything is
Yeah.
not supposed to be that serious or that deep. Like, let a joke be a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. For real. I'd rather us think about it and post it than actually go and do stuff that's harmful, you know? So it's just like pick your battle. What you want me to do? You want me to actually go do some stuff or just post about it?
Right? Now, speaking of that, right? You like to see everyone happy, especially the ones with a disability. I kind of want us to talk a little bit about your disability journey so that we can, because I don't know it, and I think I would love to know it if you're willing to share. Like, how did you get to where you are now? And your mental health through the struggles with your disability as well.
Well, I have a muscular dystrophy, and I believe it's congenital myasthenia gravis. And I don't know. I'm not a researcher, so like it's like I'm in a wheelchair. I'm just gonna deal with it, but like I can't tell you exactly what happens. But my body, my muscles get weak fast. So like I'm not paralyzed, and growing up, I could do some walking, but I just experienced uh, a lot of fatigue. But I didn't. I mean, I don't think I really understood it until probably like in middle school, um, where things start to happen. When you get a little older, you start getting weight. You can't really do too much walking and things like that. And but when I say like I recently told somebody, I'm 38 years old. I was like, I recently now I feel like I'm just becoming a man because growing up you have these things you graduate. You graduate like so as a kid. I remember being in high school, people getting their learner's permit and driver's license and getting their first jobs, and it was just like I wasn't doing those things. I was very like not that I couldn't get a job, but it was just like it was very hard on me, and I didn't understand life at that moment, and I felt like I don't know. It was very hard on me, even like talking to girls and things like that. I was very like self conscious and didn't have that confidence and things like that. So I always try to be funny, but I was very miserable inside. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
they always say that the most happiest people are like the most
Sad.
the saddest people, and that I mean I can relate to that because I was very sad
Me
growing up.
too.
And I would isolate myself, and I would sit in the room, and but I still like to enjoy myself. But I was very sad. I could say that I was very sad as a kid. Like, and one day I was about to turn 30. I was probably like 29, 30, and I'm like, look, man, this is the life you got. You either got to live it or don't live it. And I decided to live it and do what I can do to the best of my ability. And it's hard on my mental. I get discouraged. I Things happen that I just don't like, but for the most part, I try to keep a smile on my face and try to encourage myself and I encourage other people. So I don't know if I answered your question. I get a little tangent and
Yeah.
forget where I'm going.
No, and you said a few things that I want to touch on, right? You said you're 38 and you finally feel uh grown at this moment, and it's funny how when we were kids, right? We thought people were in their 30s, right? I remember when I was a kid, I was thinking, man, you're 30, you're old. Feeling
Yeah.
that at 30, you should be able to have figured life out and know shit. And then I'm literally gonna be 35 in June, and I'm still finding myself. Like I still feel like there's this all polar. Like I got into the podcasting world 3 years ago. Right,
Mm-hmm.
going to 4, and it's still a new world. And with each year, the more I keep discovering it, the more I keep growing, the more I keep discovering my.
Uh-oh. I think I lost.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we good now? Can you hear me?
Oh, wait, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Something happened, but in the meantime, I'm gonna come back. I know how to fix this. Go ahead and answer Soda's question, and I'll come back and continue. Soda asked, "What kind of things do you like to besides podcasting? Any fun hobbies?" I'll be
Uh,
right back. I know how to fix this.
all right, bad. Well, besides podcasting, I enjoy just hanging out. I play music. I like to try to make beats and stuff on the computer. I play bass guitar. Just hanging out, like to smoke cigars with my buddies and things like that. And um, anything I can do and have fun with, I'm a try it. So like, I think I have maybe a lot of hobbies that I can't mention because I just if I could do it and enjoy it, I'm with it. So
All right, can you all hear me now? I'm back.
yeah, I can hear you.
This is why what happens is shit happens. Shit always happens. So technical difficulties. If you're a podcaster, you know that shit always happens. But as I was saying, right, like you realize that there's still a lot of growing and becoming, and that's why people wonder like why I date older guys. I'm like, because
Mm,
even the guys I meet at my age, they still don't know themselves, they're still discovering, like, and it's a fun fact that guys take women grow faster than guys. So if
mm,
I'm here and I'm still learning to grow and whatever, why would like it really has to be a specific guy in my age who
mm,
also is in that. Otherwise, I'm going like 5 years above a little bit, so that at least I know. And they're still not right. Like my ex was 46 and is still growing. So
mm.
it's amazing how numbers, we always put so much in numbers. Oh, but you're 38, you should be like this. No, the mind and the numbers are two different things. But and you also touched about a happy person, but inside sad. I was the same, and I always assume that if I'm around people, I won't be sad or lonely, right? But
Mm.
the more, and that's why I used to. Everybody will tell you I had so many friends. I was the happy kid and whatever, but legit inside, I was sad, and I didn't realize that until I started working on myself to really
Mm.
understand, like
Yeah,
something inside is wrong. That's why I feel these things. Like I'm not really happy, okay, because I'm using everything around me to make
mm.
me happy, to fill this void, but I'm supposed to work on the void inside by myself. So I literally relate to that to the extent now these days I like being alone. Like there's no sadness. Like I tell people, people assume just because you're alone you get lonely, but you can be lonely while you are in a party filled with
Yeah,
thousands of people having fun, and you can be the loneliest person there. And you can be alone in your house, in your bed, watching your show, eating your favorite snacks, and be the happiest person.
yeah. Right, right. Not, I feel you. It's I deal with that loneliness and things like that, but it's it's really here's the thing. I don't like to be alone, but I can be alone. Like I enjoy my alone time, but I definitely enjoy. I have that time where I am an extrovert, but I'm pretty much an introvert. But I do have those times where I'm an extrovert and I get out there and I have fun and I'm talking a lot. But then majority of the time, you can see me. I'll be in the corner. Everybody's partying and stuff like that. I'm the one sitting in the corner, like enjoying people who have fun. That's enough for me right there, you know.
Watching.
But I do
There's
have those
something
times
about
where
people watching.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love people watching because I could sit there and pick up people's routines and know what they do.
Me too. I end up seeing things like anytime I go out and I don't there's a reason like I'm not drinking that night, I end up
Mhm.
having more fun. Like I still have fun when I go out and drink, but when I'm drinking, I don't really get to watch as much because I'm drinking and my state is like all over. But when I'm actually not drinking, I get to actually look around and actually see and notice so many things that I would
Yeah,
have missed if I was, and I just be in a, it's like a whole different world. Like amazed that, oh shit, does that always happen when we go out, or is it just today? Or like it's
Mhm.
a whole like I start making these scenarios. It's like a puzzle that I'm trying to fix. Like there's something different about just watching people. And I end up coming with content ideas or conversations, or it like it always brings back into things to look forward to or to debate about or to educate myself or learn. Like it always leads that way.
for sure, for sure. So, what made you get into podcasting?
Oh wow! You know, this ain't supposed to be my interview. This is supposed to be your
I
interview.
get. I'm a
How you
podcast.
how you
I'm a
turning?
podcast too, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know how
um,
to just turn it off and be a guest.
so I actually during COVID, I was
Mm,
dealing with a breakup that I was going through a breakup that I didn't deal with because
mm,
when we broke up, I was working two jobs. I was starting a event company with my friends, so we were working on the launch party itself.
mm,
So I was very busy. So when the breakup happened, I was like, I got shit to do. I ain't gonna worry about
mm,
this breakup. And the guy wasn't even in America at the time, so I was like, he's not
mm.
even here. Like, you
Yeah.
know, long distance breakups are easy to heal until they come back in the country, and it's a whole different healing process. So,
Okay.
so with that, then the world shut down. Then it was COVID. Then it was how my country was taking care of COVID. Then it was Black Lives Matter. Then it was the Asian, because I lived in Asia for 5 years. I was in Malaysia, so I have friends who I consider family who are Asian. So it was all those shit now in my head, and I'm an overthinker, and I'm just sitting there. So I started drinking and smoking way too much. You know, when you're
Mhm.
not doing it for fun, but actually doing it to avoid your problems, but it just makes
Yeah.
it worse.
Yeah.
Because the more I drank, the more I thought, the more I drank, I was just digging a bigger hole and hole. And my ex, he has two amazing kids who I actually cared about. And when
Mm,
COVID is happening, this thing is going on through the whole world. So there was that: do I check on them or do I pretend I don't care? But I don't want to check on them and it seemed like I'm trying to get back. Like,
mhm,
all these thoughts. So I eventually wrote an email and I went on Twitter to talk shit about the email I wrote. Again, this was drunk behavior. Like, okay. So I went to Twitter and I started talking shit about this email I wrote to my ex, so that in case he does assume that it was me trying to get back, there's evidence on Twitter that it wasn't for that. It was just a person because I care, and
for sure.
so a friend of mine ended up seeing my tweets and was like, "Yo, you should start a podcast. You got shit to say." And we started a podcast and started actually talking about mental health and the journeys and the struggles. Because at that time I was battling my own mental health and
Mm,
depression, and then as we went on and I realized I love this industry and I want to grow and whatever, that's when we pivoted and changed the logo and turned it into creative journeys and their mental health struggles. Because now I'm in this new journey of being a creator. And while you're building something, like we have mental health issues, whether you are creative or not. But when you're
mhm.
going into this journey of creating something, right? It's a lonely journey because half of the people don't understand. People don't understand why you want to be a podcaster. People don't want to understand why you want to be an artist when they constantly see starving artists. So when you're
Mhm.
trying to tell people you're leaving your job, well, I didn't leave my job, but the people who leave their jobs to start their new enterprise, whether it's being a artist, being a DJ, whatever it is, it's a lonely road. People are always looking at you like you're crazy because they don't understand what you actually feel inside. So all that comes with isolation, financial struggles, sometimes having to miss on shit because you gotta grind extra hard because you're doing
Yeah.
everything on yourself. The burnout, everything that also ends up battling with your mental health, the imposter syndrome, the anxiety, the depression, the all that. So I figure, I should create a safe space for creators to share your journeys and let's talk about your mental health struggles, what gets you through, so that if there's one artist out there, one creative person out there who's battling imposter syndrome, who's thinking they can't go on this journey because of their lack of finances or whatever, to understand that we've all been there. Some of us are still there, and there are ways
Mhm.
to kind of make it happen without having that big account. That's it. Even if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you just gotta find ways. That's why discipline. That's why this year I'm really practicing discipline. I realize discipline is very important in everything.
For sure, for sure. I need to get on that. And even like when I eat and things like that, I try to do like the fast. I'm trying to do like some fasting and to be disciplined with my food because I'll sit there and eat sweets all day, candy. I love candy. I'm a big like Mike and Ike, the sour Mike and Ike's. I love them bad boys.
Oh my God, me too. Like I be popping them, and then you know
Mhm.
how candy is supposed to suck it. I just start chewing it, especially those caramels. Like I buy
Yeah.
those caramel ones, and I start
Mhm.
chewing, and then I'm opening another one, and I'm just like, yo, And it's funny how we are quick to eat all this junk food, but when it comes to actually eating proper food, when you ask somebody, when was the last time you had an actual meal? And they'll say, "Oh, I ate today Chick-fil-A." No, Chick-fil-A is not an actual meal. Like, when was the last
Yeah.
time you had a
Yeah.
meal? Like,
For sure.
so
For
I'm
sure.
learning also to actually have home cooked. It doesn't have to be home cooked, even if it's out, but more soul food instead of take junk food. Because I
Yeah.
tell people are quick to just do the gym thing, right? But
Hmm.
there's more to it than just going to the gym and working out. You have to work out your
Yeah.
mind. You have to work out your health. You have to, going to the gym is one part. Okay, your body is fit in carrying and stuff. But what are you putting in? What is your mind observing? What is going? All that matters.
Hmm. So yeah, I get that. I'm a chicken eater. I'm a big chicken eater. I put it in the air fryer and stuff like
But
that.
at
So
least air fryer, the good thing is air fryers made it healthier. That's why I tell people if you're
yeah.
eating chicken, as long as it's from the air fryer, because you're not using oil or anything.
Mhm. So yeah, I usually do that. I'm a big eggs. I like eggs, so I try not to buy like a lot of stuff for the house, soda and stuff. Like I drink water and coffee. I love coffee. Coffee's my
I drink a
favorite.
lot of soda. It's not healthy, but I try these days to at least put juice. But the juice I drink also is too much sugar, so it's
Mhm.
sometimes I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm picking my battles. Listen, I love soda and juice and energy drinks, then I'm gonna eat healthy and not Uber eats all a bunch of stuff. Like I gotta balance it.
I guess so. I guess so. I had to when I had COVID. I still drink soda a little bit, but I can only have like one. I can't drink soda like that. But I love like the bubbles and everything. I love Dr Pepper, but I'm just not a big soda guy
The bubbles.
anymore. And I actually drink soda water. So like the bar right here across the street from me, I'm in there so much. Like when they bring me a drink, they bring soda water to me. Like
Wow.
yeah, I just drink soda water because it's easy. I still get soda, but it's just water.
See, I've never gotten to get used to drinking soda water. Like, I just find it nasty. Like,
Yeah,
even when
when I first started doing it, it was nasty. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was nasty because your mind think you about to get Sprite or something like that, and it's not Sprite. But once you trick your mind into thinking it, you know what it is, it tastes a whole lot better. Because one day I did it, I was like, oh, this is nasty. But one day I started drinking it, I was like, I couldn't get enough of it. So
so true. Soda says soda quit soda. Her name is Soda and she quit soda. Love the bubbles. Celia's green tea. Oh, I also can't drink green tea because I was told that green tea is mostly for people who want to lose weight. I'm not trying to lose weight. I need to gain all the weight I can gain. So green tea has never been on my regimen.
I I'm a peppermint tea with honey guy. I like peppermint tea with honey.
Mm. I'm a tea girl. I like flavored tea and
Mm.
everything, but I tried one time to do the tea with honey instead of sugar, and I don't know, man. Like I think I just love sugar. Let's just
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of doing it because you kind of trick your mind into
But I
it's
put
fun.
lemon, I put
Yeah.
lemon, okay? I put some lemon in it, okay?
So I got you. I mean, there's a lot of things that I do now that I didn't like before, but I kind of had to trick my mind into doing it
You
and like.
do. Yeah, because if you keep on saying, but I don't like it, yeah, not everybody likes it, but you gotta do things you don't like to be better
Mm,
or get better in anything. So I get that. So, when we were talking about your disability journey, right? You mentioned things about insecurities, and I can imagine a guy like you being on a wheelchair, how it feel, especially asking girls out, or sometimes just walking
mm,
up to a girl, you feel like. Do you ever feel like I know some people have said sometimes they feel like the yes they get is out of pity because oh they see me on a wheelchair and they now kind of have to be nice to me kind of thing,
mm.
or how do you work your mind to not be like to make yourself believe like no that's a yes because I deserve it because I'm hot as fuck because if you met me like this is a full package, it's not a yes because they're feeling sorry for me or because of I'm on a wheelchair kind of thing.
Um, I mean, you kind of have to take that approach. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, if you say no, you're missing out. But if you get a yes, here's the thing. I'm weird because I don't ask a lot of girls out. I do flirt though. I'm a flirter. So like,
Oh yeah, I've seen that,
so if you see me out and I'm flirt, I go by that vibe. So like, if I do like, hey, we should get lunch or something like that. Like, there's a type of maybe an excitement. There's a type where it doesn't feel like they just doing it to say yeah. Plus, I come out with that vibe too. Is like, don't feel sorry for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna say no, say no.
Kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that vibe where it's just like, like other people might do it. I'm just like, hey, all right, cool. That's if you don't want to, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I can't make you do anything you don't want to.
Curiosity, right? This is just because we on shit happens. Have you ever kind of used or tried to gain a pity shit, like like listen, I really need to get out of this shit, so I'm gonna let people feel pity for me because I need this shit done. Have you ever used your pity card? Because I know some people use their pity cards depending on certain stuff, and some people are like fuck that I never want to be felt pity upon. Because I know if I don't have a disability, but there's some angles in my life where I've used a certain of my quality to my advantage. Like, like girls with, everybody has used certain advantage they have to get out of certain things, right? Whether you're
um,
disabled or not. So
yeah,
have you used your disability to either kind of get, and like, I'm just curious.
yeah. I mean, I guess so, but I try not to because that is a slippery slope of doing things. If you get in that mindset of I'm in a wheelchair, somebody got to help me do this or just do that. I think nah, I'm still gonna take at the end of the day, whether I'm in a wheelchair and I'm still a man and I want to take care of things myself. So, but sometimes you are tired. You're like, look, man, I'm about to pull this wheelchair card. Yeah. But at the end of the day, though, I'm still a man, and I feel like that is like all seriousness. I feel like that's a slippery slope, and I don't want to always do that. But yeah.
But I want to know, give us one thing that you used your wheelchair. Because I know the girls who have used their boobs or whatever to get out of a parking ticket. I know I've used certain expertise of mine to get out of certain shit. So I want to know one thing that you used your wheelchair card to get out of. Like share one story or one.
Well, honestly, just to get a put like, all right. So for instance, like when we was at Podfest, um, I was lost. I was lost, and I was put. So I have a power chair, but when I went there, I was in my manual chair, so I pushed myself. So, and I asked this girl, where this was, and she started pushing me, and she actually brought it up. It was funny, and I was like, well, she's about to push me, but we was going out the door. I don't think we could have went out of. And I was like, yeah, I don't think we can go out this door. She's like, it's fine. Just blame it on your wheelchair. And I just started laughing. And I was like, it to me was funny. And I was like, you know what? This is a right time to use a wheelchair card. So I'm gonna use it if anybody says something to me. But
And
like,
I mean, she kind of put it on you. So
yeah,
if somebody, because sometimes we feel guilty to be like, yo, just because I'm on a wheelchair, I shouldn't be using that. But if somebody else brings it up to me and be like, but you're in a wheelchair, run with it. I'm like, okay, cool, let's
yeah.
go.
That's all the encouragement I need right there.
Like I remember at work one time we worked retail and one of our friends gotten pregnant and she wasn't even really far off yet. But
Mhm.
then one day she said just one thing and something was hurting her or something and the manager was like, since right now you're pregnant, you can bring the chair where you're front and sit on the chair. Yo, that chick ran with that shit to the rest of her pregnancy. She was
I ain't gonna lie
like,
to you. I don't blame her at all. I don't blame her at all.
I'm like, I don't even blame you because if it was me, I would have even been doing the most right now.
hmm
Because
Yeah, that
sometimes
right
you
there.
just.
Yeah, that right there. I definitely don't blame her. But for me, like, yeah, I think I use it sparingly. In the right moment, I would go in there and just use a wheelchair card. So,
I love that. And before we come to an end, right? Which we're going I want us to talk a little bit about your podcast, but also there's something me and you both have in common, right? Your mission is to encourage the disability community by letting them know they have a lot to offer to the
yeah,
world, which is kind of like me with people. I won't say all mental health because I don't battle all mental health and I can't speak on all mental health, but I
mhm,
can speak on the depression side. I want to encourage people that you are not your mental health, you're not your depression, right? That's just
mhm,
part of you. Just like how being a husband is part of you, it's not your entire title. Just like being a son, being a father, being a sister, like they're just little bits that make who you are. So
mhm.
I kind of want to know why was it important for you to encourage the disability community on that? Because not everybody's all about. They'll be like, yo, this is my life. I figured shit out for myself. Why do I gotta bring people onto this journey with me, right? Like there are people like that. So why was that important to you?
Um, well, it was important for me because growing up, I didn't have anybody that really looked like me. You know, that was doing and being successful in a wheelchair. But now I see people in movies in wheelchairs. You go on Instagram, you see people in wheelchairs be in relationships, have babies, and be, it is social media, so some of that might be a little bit exaggerated, but you
Hmm.
still see people living their life. So that kind of gave me a hope to do stuff. But growing up, I didn't have that. I didn't think a lot of things were going on the cards for me. So I sat there and not asked out a girl that I had a crush on, or not took initiative in opportunities that I had because I was in a wheelchair and I felt no self worth, you know, and no confidence, and at sometimes didn't love myself. But nobody deserves to feel that way in life. I feel like nobody deserves that. So it's just like now I'm at a point where I love myself. I have confidence. I do a lot of amazing things. I have amazing friends. And it's just like I want to be there for people that are depressed, that don't feel like they have a life, don't have an identity. And there's, God forbid, somebody can have a bad accident, be in a wheelchair tomorrow, and end up listening to my podcast and be encouraged to find their identity and still live a fulfilled life just in a wheelchair, or if they got to walk with a limp or something. Like I feel like everybody should be happy. Like obviously we're gonna have our bad days where we're not gonna feel like getting up out of bed, and we're gonna be sad and we're gonna be depressed. But for the most part, be happy and feel like you. At the end of the day, when you die, I want people to say I lived the best life I could have lived, and that's all we get. We only get one life, and I just don't want people to waste their life because of a situation. You can still live the life that you want to live.
That's so true. And because situations don't, that's why I tell people lately, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking leave because I've been broke and I've survived. I'll be broke again and I'll survive. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
stop living because oh I'm broke, because there'll always be another issue, something else tomorrow, something else. So live while you can. Do the fucking thing you wanna do. Cause
Yeah,
and if you die, well that's the whole point. We're all supposed to die, right? Like
yeah,
that's the
we're gonna
end
die one
game,
day.
right?
Yeah,
So they say I fully used my pregnancy card every chance I got.
I
I
don't
can
blame
actually see that.
you.
And I tell y'all are not ready. Y'all think you know me. Wait until I am pregnant. Y'all will say, you know what? We are ready for Paula to be done with this pregnancy because we are tired. I am gonna be the oh my God. And so it also says, I have a couple of disabilities, and it's so hard to balance embracing that I have my challenges, needs grace, but also not staying in a victim mentality.
And that is true. Not to be in a victim mentality because everything happens. Everybody could, everybody could be a victim in something, but you say, look, it happened. Let's deal with it. It may take you a little bit to deal with it, but deal with it, process it, and move on, and be happy in life. We always
And
have
what,
some things.
yeah, and when I tell people about this, I think anytime somebody feels something deep about a situation, they're already thinking that they are being in a victim mentality.
Mhm.
Like it's okay to wallow on what you have lost, right? Whether it's losing a job or you hate, we all have those moments where even though this is my reality, I can still hate it. Like, yes, I've been on a wheelchair and I know I've been on a wheelchair, but I can wake up one morning where fuck being on a wheelchair, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's okay. Like to have those moments and to vent to whatever, it's okay. But staying in that space for long, that's when you're placing yourself in a victim mentality. But it's okay to vent, it's okay to have a bad day, it's okay to
Hmm.
feel it deep and cry about it and everything. Just remember, don't stay there. Once you start staying there, that's when you have victim mentality. Because yes, it's a fucked up situation, and life is gonna keep bringing fucked up situations. Today
Yeah.
you're on a wheelchair. Tomorrow you might also end up getting migraine. Tomorrow you might also end up getting. It might just be added. It might be subtracted, and that's the life. Sadly, that's what life is gonna keep throwing at us. But
Hmm.
it's just how you get yourself going, and that can be hard. Trust me, I know. Like I have had days where I've said this, I've had thoughts of suicide because at one point I realized, and sometimes when I look back, I'm like, yo, I know it was tough, but it wasn't even as deep as it was. But in the moment, while you're in the
Yeah,
moment, you really feel like this is the end of the fucking world. It's all crashing. And
yeah.
that's okay. But when you look back, you're gonna laugh and be like, that wasn't even as deep as it is. But and it all comes, I believe, in working on yourself. Like the more you keep working on yourself and seeing those things and actually walking into them and fighting them instead of letting them slide, you're gonna
Hmm.
get better and better with handling and dealing, and when to not to give yourself grace, and when to, like, I give my friends grace, but then it also comes time where I'm like, okay, right now is hard love time. Because also, sometimes we keep on telling each other to give yourself grace, and you see somebody who's giving themselves grace for 6 months. No, bitch, get the fuck up. Now you need a tough love because we are not giving each other grace for that long. Like, So
Yeah.
balance.
I was on the phone with my buddy last night, and he was talking about something, and I was like, bro, I already know what you want to do, but what are you going to do? That's the question. We can sit here and talk about it all day, but like, and I feel you. I know what you want to do, but what are you about to do? What are you going to do? And that's the question. Like, sometimes you
That's
got
the
to.
best way to support your friends because you gotta give
Mhm.
them tough love. Even my friends, when they vent, if you
Yeah,
vented to me like for the whole day, I've listened to you talking about this bullshit and I allowed you to cry, and then the next day you're coming again. If we're not talking about a solution, please don't vent to me because I am gonna go like, okay, I get it. You're mad, you're sad, it's done. But what's the plan? What do we want to
yeah,
do? If you don't have a plan, you don't want to do anything, then don't come crying to me until you have a plan and you want help with the plan or anything. Because they also have to get out of that mindset and wake up. And sometimes we all know we need that, but we also just need that push, right? And that's why
hmm
as friends, you shouldn't always just give your friends grace. Like, yes, give them grace, but also know like, yeah, okay, crunch time, this is overdone. We're done
for
talking
sure.
about this
Yeah,
shit.
for sure. And I'm like that too. I'm like, look, I can't deal with this. How many times we talked about this conversation? I can't do
I
it
tell my
anymore.
friends I'm gonna start charging them for being their therapist because like keeping me on the phone for 2 3 hours and then sending voice notes of 6 minutes like that's a whole day of listening to podcasts, So
For real, yeah. I, I feel that. Yeah, so I
fun.
mean,
I kind of have a very and I don't want to be disrespectful, but I am talk shit with P, and this is shit happens. So of course I have to ask this, otherwise it will just be bugging me in my head. And we're
okay,
about to go a whole different level while we close this shit. So I'm trying to find the right for it to come out the right way. So I'm a very sexual being. Like I tell people
yeah,
I love sex, and
yeah,
anybody who says sex is not important in their relationship can never be in a relationship with me
for
because
sure, for
it's not
sure.
the most important thing, but it is important. Like it's not the most important, but it is on my important list in a relationship.
Yeah,
So I have actually never dated anybody in a wheelchair, and not because of anything. It's just I've never been around people in wheelchairs, or. So
hmm
I don't know that, but I've found very successful people who are in relationships and have kids. But I've always been curious, and again, I've never had a friend in a wheelchair to have this conversation with. So now
for
that
sure.
you are here and you're on my hot seat, I feel like I kind of have to. So you can start laughing before I ask the question.
Look,
Um,
on dating sites, that's one of the questions that I always get. Can you have sex? So
yeah, no, I
I
know
get
you
that.
can have sex, but like, is it more harder or less? Because I know, of course, you can have sex. I mean, I can literally just sit on you right now, but I know there
Yeah,
might be certain limitations as how extra you can be in your performance, right? Because people like to show out. Some people like to be gymnastics on the bed and stuff. So showing out in that way. But yeah, how does that work? Like, is painful or it's just normal or it's just you and your partner just figure it out what's comfortable at that time for both of you?
I guess it's really big on my partner, and how comfortable they are with the situation, and because sometimes it's been enjoyable, but if they're very like fragile and like not comfortable, it's not fun experience for me.
Because
So
they worry about you and the
yeah,
pain so much that it takes away the art
yeah,
of it.
yeah. So it's supposed to be fun, and just like if you're in your head, that's going to put me in my head, and it's not going to be fun. So like I tell people, if I feel like it's going to go in that direction, and but if I have a partner this multiple times, obviously gets better and more comfortable sometimes. But like, um, yeah, I've been in a wheelchair my whole life. I understand, like you're not just gonna come in and be like, but I don't want to hurt you. Like, no, this is not my first rodeo. Like, Trust me, calm down, like relax.
So, what's your favorite sex position on your wheelchair? Out of curiosity, and Soda says, "Of course you're gonna go there." P. Of course I'm gonna go there. Like I even wonder. Maybe Soda, you'll come to my podcast and talk about it. Like when people are 9 months, 8 months, like do you get so horny and is it safe to have sex while you're like 9 months while the baby's already there and water can break and it, like these are things that literally go in my head which I think about having conversations on. Like and because you learn, right? And some people out there who are also wondering, I'm helping them unwind and wonder. So back to your question, what's your your best sex position on your wheelchair?
I mean, easy. Me sitting there on top. I'm a little lazy anyway, so
I need you to get on top and just do all the work and let me
you
just
know,
chill. Imagine, but that's kind of like, you're already sitting, she's just sitting and you're busy with your game or your cigar. And like you have the perfect advantage of being taken advantage of. Like,
I mean, you're right, and that's how I come on. And sometimes I in that mode, they be like, "Oh, you smooth" or something like that. But I'm just using that my environment to my advantage, and that's what it is. I feel empowered um, when that goes down like that. So it's a kind of empowering.
I love that. Well, here's to you being more empowered this year, okay?
Hey, I second that. I need that. I need that.
So that says, oh, we will have to chat about that. Please, I want pregnant women to come on my show and talk about that last month with sexual. As I said, I am very sexually, so whenever, in the beginning, I actually wanted to have a sex podcast, but you can't have a sex podcast by yourself. I needed to have somebody who I talk banter to. My friends are kind of always tired of hearing my sex adventures when I used to have them before COVID. I've become a nice person since, because COVID, my breakup, I started working on myself and not really dating. So I've become a very, not a nun, but less. We need a sex chat live with an expert sometime. We have Michelle. We need sex empowerment. Yes, we do need that. I think it should be there. We just might not know because we have a lot of sex people in the industry, especially at Podfest. If you were at Podfest, you saw people walking around with sex belts. You saw I was mouth guard for the first time, and a lot of shit went down. So I know a few sex experts, but I also kind of don't want to hear it from sex experts. I want people to share their experience, like
Yeah,
in your last nine
regular
months.
people. Yeah,
Yeah, I
like regular
want
people.
normal.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't want an expert telling me what I should or shouldn't do. I want somebody who went through it. Like I want to know. Give me the juice.
yeah.
But
So it's fun. I mean, we need more like even like sex empowerment month, but like disability, like add disability in there because if you ever get a chance to learn a little bit about like some disabilities and stuff, or like trying to get in mind, there's a show, a documentary on Netflix called Crip Kent, and there's a girl, Crip Kent, CRIP, and it opened my eyes up because, like I said, like just because I'm disabled, I don't know all about every disability. I don't know everything about mindsets. We may share the same mindset, but different things. Some things I let go. And I'm like, hey, I pick and choose my battles. Some people battle everything. But there was a girl on there, she's in a wheelchair, and she was getting sick, and they checked her for STDs, and she had an STD in the wheelchair, and the doctor looked at her like, but you're in a wheelchair, like, how you have a second wheelchair? Like, no, we sexual, we do all that. And
like
but
that's so stupid for a doctor. Imagine a whole doctor saying that.
here's the thing though, like I see that, but I definitely understand it because a lot of people are ignorant to the fact they're not educated that like just because you're in a wheelchair and things like that, you are a very sexual being.
Exactly. And that's why I like having this conversation. I think we should have more of this conversation. So
Mhm.
maybe I should do like a sex disability or sex randomness. People come and we have all these conversations of sex in a disabled, sex was pregnant, sex like a whole panel discussion kind of thing where we just learn. Because people always get weird when it's sex, but it's also learning. Like, we are
Yeah,
literally educating each other and understanding each other. So in case there's somebody out there who is dating somebody on a wheelchair and they've maybe been treating them fragilely, they can know, oh shit, they don't like that. They just want us to go all in like we would normally go, but with also a little care to their disability or whatever,
yeah.
like all this conversation. So I love that. We should definitely. But as we come to an end, let the people know about your podcast, Then Wait. I'm curious how you came up with Then Wait as a name.
All right, so I got it from a show called Curb Your Enthusiasm. There was a scene in it, and they were in the bathroom. The guy was using a handicap stall. The guy in the wheelchair comes in. Is like, "Hey, man, you got two other stalls right here. Why are you using the handicap stall?" He's like, "To be honest with you, they were filled up when I got here. I'd never seen anybody use this stall, so I just use it." Anyway, the guy in the wheelchair keeps saying, "Well, you gotta wait." So they have a dialogue, but the guy in the wheelchair kept saying, "Well, then wait, just wait. You gotta wait then." So in my mind, when I was coming up with the title for the show, and I was like, "Oh snap! I could use, I could call it Then Wait." So I actually started my podcast with a friend of mine that co-hosts with me, and I showed him the clip of it, and I was like, "Hey, this should be the name of the show." He's like, "Man, I love that." So we named it Then Wait, and that's how I come up with the title of the show. And when you want to know about the actual show,
Yes, let the people know about the show so in case they're curious and they want to check it out.
so I mean, I usually get on there and like I pretty much talk to people. I talk to all different type of people. You don't really have to be in the wheelchair, even though I promote disability inclusion, which talking about sex and stuff like that. I probably should have more sex stuff like that on my page.
Yes, please. I will be tuning in if you have those
Yeah,
conversations.
yeah, I should. But those things kind of make me blush. Like you had me blushing a little bit when you first
It's my job, I'm good at that.
blushing. Like, good thing my mama not listening to this. But I represent disability inclusion for the most part. But like I said, I had a buddy on mine. I call him a legend. He's been smoking for 50 something years, and he works at my cigar lounge. And I had him on yesterday. So, but I understand that people in wheelchairs like to smoke cigars. So let's have all conversations. And I like to talk about a lot of things because my identity is not just being in a wheelchair. I have a lot of identities, so I like to have people come on and have something of value to bring to somebody. So
I love that.
yeah, tomorrow I might have somebody entrepreneurship on here. So you never know, but I ultimately I promote disability inclusion, but I love to talk to anybody.
I love that. Now let the people know where they can find you or your podcast.
You can find a podcast. I'm starting to get my YouTube site up. But you can find the audio versions on any pretty much flat platform, iTunes, Spotify. You got, I guess, Google Podcasts. Let me see what this is. I like
All
to
the
use it.
streaming platforms.
Yeah, Pocket Cast, all of them on there, and then my Instagram is it's right here on the thing. Then
Then
Wait
wait.
at Then Wait. Facebook, Luke Bishop Jones. If you want to see some ridiculous stuff.
Yes,
Post
please go follow him. Yes. Go follow him on Facebook.
yeah, Luke Bishop Jones, and we have a good time. Reach out, message me if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about something. Let's have that conversation. I'm always down for a good conversation. So uh, hit me up, and don't be afraid to hit me up.
Well, thank you so much, Luke. You've been amazing and for answering all my questions. And I'm glad I got to make you blush. Thank you, Soda, for hanging out with us and sharing
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
conversations. For all who are watching, or we're gonna be watching the replay. Thank you for tuning in to Shit Happens where shit always happens. And go follow him on Facebook. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. You will thank me. Until next time, I'll be back at 6 p.m. with Amy. Come hang out with us.